Hello, friends from Five Reasons. Welcome back to another edition of Messi and Go here on the Five Reasons YouTube channel and on any of the different platforms, wherever you listen to your podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Jordi Alba's and Tata Martino's press conference that took place early on Tuesday, August 1st. Remember, tomorrow, Wednesday, the 2nd, Inter Miami will be playing against Orlando City. We're going to have a preview of that match with our friends Austin, Morgan, and Ashley. That's going to be happening later tonight. So probably you're going to be able to listen to the episode on your way to the game or earlier whenever you get a chance to listen to that. And they're going to be talking a little bit more in depth of what's going to go on, according to them, on the pitch, what's Orlando maybe going to try to do, what Inter Miami has to do to go over Orlando's system and everything that's going to happen in this classic match, right, between Orlando and Inter Miami. But today we're going to focus on Jordi Alba, who was one of the best players that has associated with Lionel Messi in his years at Barcelona. At the beginning of Messi's career, it was more on the right side with Dani Alves. Then, as years went by, he went more over to the other side of the pitch, to the left side, where Jordi Alba did his job. And if you look at the amount of assists that Jordi Alba had over the years with Barcelona, well, they all have a lot to do with what Messi was doing with him, the places Messi was giving him the ball and then receiving the ball from him, or just allowing Alba to find other forwards or other players to make that assist and for Barca to score more goals. So, a very important signing for Inter Miami. I know we're all, of course, focused on Messi, Busquets, and now the third one in that three-headed beast is going to be Jordi Alba, and we'll see what's going to go on. We're going to be talking about what they said on this press conference and the possibility of seeing Alba play minutes against Orlando. All right, so let's start with the first subject in this press conference. We're going to be doing this, by the way. I know some of the press conference was translated. I know not all of it was, so that's where we're going to keep doing these episodes. So you guys that are just speak English and or don't really understand everything that it's been said in Spanish also have an opportunity to understand what Tata Martino is saying, what in this case Jordi Alba is saying, but it's going to happen with Busquets. At some point, I'm imagining Messi will also talk in one of these press conferences, maybe before a more important match. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But for now, we're going to keep doing this so you guys have a little bit of context of what's being said. And I know it's not easy to follow a 20-minute press conference and not being in a language that you really are familiar with. So let's start with the first subject on this press conference. Of course, the easy question was, how does it feel to be reunited with Messi and Busquets? Of course, Jordi Alba said he was happy. He also mentioned the importance of having somebody like Tata Martino that knows them well, that coached them before, that really knows how to put them together and how they work. That's really important. And he says he's coming to compete. He's looking forward for this, looking forward to this beautiful challenge, reuniting, helping each other. That's what it's going to be about, and that's what Alba's going to try to do here in South Florida with Inter Miami. He was asked also about his year with Tata Martino. Remember, Tata Martino just coached Barcelona for a year. They ended up losing the league, La Liga. They lost in the last game of the season, tying at home against Atletico de Madrid in a very even league with both Atletico and Real Madrid. Barca was just minutes away from being the champion that year. They had probably one of the best squads ever with Neymar, with Alexis Sanchez, with just great players all over the pitch, and they couldn't win that La Liga, and that's always going to be in Tata's mind, I bet, having that great of a team surrounding Messi, of course, and not being able to win that year. So, but even though that's what happened, and they also got out of the Champions League, they were eliminated by Atletico de Madrid as well. So it was a year that was not the best year for Barca during those particular years, and being more specific about it, especially since those years, like Tata said, that version of the team, because it's not Pep Guardiola's year, or after Pep Guardiola left, there was a gap there between Pep Guardiola and Tata Martino, filled with Tito Villanova, but he still got a very good team to work with, and things didn't really go his way in those years. So, but Alba said he did a great job. He's an experienced head coach. Of course, he's not going to say that Tata didn't do a good job there. But talking about their relationship, he said he gave me confidence. He's one of the reasons why I came here. He knows me. He knows us very well. He's honest with us. He's gonna be fair. If I deserve to play, I will play. If not, I will have to wait for my time to do so. And Alba was very clear and reinstated a couple of times that uh, uh, Tata Martino was one of the reasons why he came to Miami, well, to Inter Miami, to South Florida, with, of course, Messi and Busquets. Having Tata Martino, I would say, would be third on that list, right behind Messi and Busquets, of course. Now, then they jumped. The press conference went to talk about the young players that Inter Miami has been signing, Farias, Avilés, and Tata Martino said they were looking at it. They knew bringing three players that could be DPs or that were on the high end of the salary uh, table, for just to call it some way. They knew they had to then go after young players to really build a good team around Messi, Busquets, Alba, and whoever else is coming after that. So um, Tata talked greatly on the effort by Inter Miami, and not only Inter Miami's board of directors and everybody that was involved in these signings, but also the Argentinian teams that were willing to collaborate. He talked about Colón, Racing, and the players also who made it possible for these under 22 players to come over to Inter Miami and try to make this a more competitive team that was really struggling. As you guys know, they were last place in the Eastern Conference in MLS. They were probably the worst team in MLS overall in all the different aspects of the game. So to change that in such a short amount of time, it's going to take an effort. And then this is just starting, but it was important for the team and for Tata Martino to get here and get the players he needed in order to succeed in the short, medium, and long term with Inter Miami. Is Jordi Alba going to play? Tata Martino, of course, didn't say he's going to play. He mentioned that Alba is going to be in the roster, he's going to be available. He didn't say in which situation Jordi Alba will be used, but we probably expect, I would say, Alba is going to be playing probably something similar to what Messi did in his first game, maybe 30 minutes, maybe a little more, and that would be it. Probably, and depending also on the situation, I guess. If the game is really close and Inter Miami needs other type of substitutions, which I doubt, because Alba could help you um, open the lock if it's nil-nil, or really trying to get more possession, because he knows how to do that, play the possession game along with Busquets, Messi, and co. Well, I think I was going to play regardless, but if he doesn't, uh, it wouldn't be weird. But in my opinion, he's going to be doing, he's going to be playing, he's going to be doing the same that Messi did in his first game, which is play north of 25 minutes just to get things going with Inter Miami. Alba said he was training in Barcelona. He said it's not easy to do it by himself. Um, I mean, he's obviously said that's obvious that in the next few weeks it's going to be better, and that he's also having to adjust to the type of weather that's going on here in Miami. That's a very important change for him. Both him and Tata laughed when this was mentioned. Of course, remember, Alba's getting here in the middle of the humid summer in South Florida. And I mean, it's hot over there in Barcelona, but it's not as humid as it gets here in South Florida. So that's a little bit of the adjustment that they're having to do in this first couple of games or first couple of weeks, days right now with Inter Miami. They were asked about about the comparison between this classic, this Florida classic between Orlando and Inter Miami, and the El Clásico in Spain between um, Real Madrid and Barcelona. But before that, he said facing Orlando in his first classic. This is Tata Martino, by the way. There's a lot of illusion. He talked about before it was Atlanta against Orlando before Inter Miami got here, and that was supposed to be the Clásico of that area, this southeast area here in the United States. He said the rival plays well, their coaches play work well, they can't have a bad day or they're going out. Remember, this is a knockout stage. Whoever wins advances, whoever loses is already out of the competition. And it would be sad. It would be sad for Messi. It would be sad for MLS. It would be sad for the competition itself if Inter Miami is out as soon as in the second round of this tournament. Let's do a short break. And after we come back, I'm going to be talking about what Tata Martino and Alba said about the comparison with El Clásico, with Real Madrid Barcelona, and plenty of other things that were mentioned in that press conference. Again, Inter Miami playing Orlando City tomorrow, Wednesday, August the 2nd, at Driving Stadium, trying to advance to the round of 16 in the League's Cup. Let's do a short break, and we'll be back here with more of Messi and Co.
Are you ready to transform your space into a masterpiece? Introducing Mosaics, your destination for stones and more. Mosaics is a family owned business serving the community for over 20 years. With the best quality porcelain, ceramic tiles, and high end mosaics featuring unique modern designs, Mosaics has everything you need: dedicated customer service, wholesale distributors, and a passion for excellence. Make sure you visit mosaics.com today to turn your vision into a reality.
So there you go, mosaics.com, our sponsor here on Inter Miami Pod, or Messi and Co Pod, to be more specific. Thank you to all of you for staying here with us for the second part of this episode. And let's continue talking about what Jordi Alba and Tata Martino said in this press conference. They were asked about El Clásico. They both laughed, and it's a little bit of a laughable comparison there, right? I mean, Inter Miami is it's a very new team. Orlando City is not very much older, and MLS, of course, is not at the same level as La Liga or any other European leagues, for that matter. So, I mean, they both laughed. And Tata Martino talked about the context of it. That was, I mean, referring to what that journalist that made that comparison was talking about, and I mean, it's a rivalry, but it's not, of course, at the level of Real Madrid, Barcelona. Many years of distance is how Tata Martino responded to this question. El Clásico has been played longer, just the basic concept of it, and it's being played at the best level possible in soccer. There's a lot to do for MLS, for Inter Miami, for Orlando City. There's a lot to do to all those three, before even trying to make the comparison between what goes on in El Clásico in Spain and what goes on here in this Clásico, the Florida Classic, between Orlando City and Inter Miami. Jordi was asked about the atmosphere. And he talked a little bit about how he decided to come to Inter Miami. He said after he decided to leave Barca, he didn't have a team. He didn't have anything specific being offered to him. He went to play with Spain. They won the the final against Croatia in the Nations League. So they won their first Nations League ever with him acting as a captain. He got, I'm going to say lucky, but not lucky. He got the chance to play a lot because Alejandro Balde, who was the starting left back at Barca and in the Spanish national team, got injured in one of the last games of the season. So he got to play that championship. That was a key part of Luis de la Fuente's team that won that Spain title in the Nations League. He is talking, Alba talked about illusion. He wanted to keep winning, and he thought this was the right place to do so. He went he made his decision after he went to play with the national team. He talked about the confidence that he had playing for Martino, and he was shown that the club wanted him. He said Inter Miami was the club that wanted him the most, and that made the decision easier for him. Of course, we all know Messi, Busquets, that has a lot of weight in this decision for Jordi Alba. If they were not here, Alba would probably not be playing in South Florida. That's for sure. And that's why this is a Messi and Co podcast, because they're coming, of course, to play with Lionel Messi. Of course, they want to play in a competitive league and maybe go a little bit under the rhythm that they were facing in Europe. But I don't know if MLS would have been their first option if Messi was not here playing with Inter Miami. And coming back about the atmosphere and happiness and everything going right, Tata Martino yet said that yes, they see him, they see it. I'm sorry, they see what's going on, but it also has to do, and this is my comment, it also has to do that with the fact that Messi just got here and they just won the first two games. The first one in a crazy beautiful way, and the second one they just went over Atlanta United without a lot of trouble. So that's what's really keeping the great atmosphere going on there. Jordi Alba talked about also wanting to win everything. He won almost everything in Europe. He just didn't win a World Cup, but he won a couple of tournaments with Spain, uh, European Championship, this Nations League that we were just talking about. And he said he's a very competitive person. It feels familiar, feels like home to be here with Messi, with Busquets, and with all the team members that have welcomed him. He wants to compete and win. The approach is going to be the same as it was when he was in Europe, and that's not going to be changed at all at this particular moment in his career. Talking about the tactics of the team, Alba was clear saying, of course, there's a lot of things that the team has to do better, but I think they have a lot of quality. They're strong. He saw Messi and Busquets made them grow, and he can see the motivation of the players after Messi and Busquets got here. And he said it's not an easy league. He's gonna be demanding, and we'll see. And then insisted again that he felt wanted, and he that was important for him, and he felt grateful from the way he's been treated so far here in South Florida. And now, towards the end of this press conference, a couple of more questions that went on. Um, Tata Martino was asked about the effort, right? The work that this board has done to bring Inter Miami a lot of good players, because it's not just Messi, Busquets, Alba. It's also good young players that are going to be making this team be way better. And I thought it was very important that he said they did their job, so I have no excuses now. They put everything that we talked about, it's on the table now, and now I have to perform, and there's no excuses. And that's something that's very important, because it's easier when you're demanding for more players and you still, if you don't have them, you still have that excuse, you want to call it that way. But now, I mean, players are coming here and there's still a lot of things to do, but it's not about not having the players. So when he got here, that was a very different team of what's going on right now with Inter Miami. And then Alba said he's been lucky to be in a winning team for the most part in his career, but he's gonna be trying to be the same player. He knows Inter Miami is a team that's still growing. He's a humble person. He wants to start over. I mean, and work from the ground up and continue doing what he's done all throughout his career. And Tata being asked about the experiment, as he called it, of bringing players of this caliber, of this level to this type of league. He said it's more he feels Tata Martino feels is more about how these players learn from the players that are or were key in a team that changed the way we see soccer. Talking about that Barcelona team, and well, at the moment that Alba got there, they already had been passed of what Pep Guardiola did there, but still had a lot of that, and the main core was the same, right? With Busquets, Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, and Piqué, Puyol, just to mention some of the players that were the key elements of those teams. And Tata is just focusing on how these players are learning and how they can make the most out of it. It's not easy to play with guys with this legacy in the sport, but we are on the right path, is what Tata Martino said about it. And finally, Jordi Alba was asked about if he saw a different version of Messi after spending so many years with him in Barcelona and having succeeded there at Barca. Maybe not so much in Europe in the last years, but before that, definitely were one of the best teams of Europe for sure, and they won a lot of leagues and a lot of Spanish cups together. But it wasn't going well for Messi at Argentina. Argentina lost, I think it was four South American Championship finals in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Two against Brazil, two against Chile, and one semifinal in 2019 when Messi said he was gonna leave the national team. So it was a struggle before before that championship in Brazil in 2021, then winning against Italy in the Finalissima, and then 2020, 2021, and then 2022 with the World Cup. Before all of that, Alba saw Messi succeed more at Barca than he actually did with Argentina. But Jordi Alba said he thinks Messi is the same. He's still the demanding player that keeps competing, that wants to win everything, and that's why they're here to help him, not only Busquets and Alba, but the entire team. And it's important for him to have Messi feel well. And of course, they all are past their main prime, but they still have a lot of things to win here with Inter Miami. So those were the questions in this press conference. Those are the most important things that Tata Martino and Jordi Alba said about this particular match and about Alba coming to Inter Miami to join Messi and co. And that's the episode for today. Thank you very much for joining us. And remember, we're going to be doing another episode just talking about what's going to go on between Inter Miami and Orlando City. Remember, tomorrow night here at Dry Pink Stadium, a knockout game. Whoever wins advances, whoever loses is out of the League's Cup. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember to follow us at Messi and Co. on Twitter. And we're going to continue with our coverage of the best player of the world and the best player in history for some playing here in South Florida. Have a good one. Thank you very much and see you later.